The ocean air, thick with the tang of salt and the memory of recent conflict, clung to the desolate cliffs. Below, the relentless waves crashed against the shore, a symphony of nature's indifference. And there, standing as if carved from the very rock, was Namor the Sub-Mariner. Stripped of the cosmic fire that had briefly imbued him with godlike power, the air around him no longer shimmered with destructive energy, but simply echoed with the silence of a battle lost. His defeat was complete, his pride wounded, yet his regal posture remained, a defiant statue against a bruised sky. It was in this moment of quiet, almost desolate reflection that Hope Summers found him. Not with a shout of triumph, nor a gesture of condemnation, but with a presence as soft yet as unyielding as the sea mist. The young woman, herself a vessel of cosmic power and a pivotal figure in the recent cataclysm, approached the defeated king. There was no need for words initially, only the heavy understanding that hung between them, the weight of the Phoenix Force, the destruction it had wrought, and the roles they had each played. Namor, true to his nature, was the first to break the silence, his voice a low rumble, still carrying the echoes of command, though now tinged with a weariness he rarely allowed to surface. "The victor comes to gloat, then?" he challenged, turning his gaze, which still held a flicker of the inferno he'd recently wielded, towards Hope. "Or perhaps to ensure that the flame has truly died?" His words were sharp, a defensive shield he had honed over millennia. He was Namor, the first mutant, the King of Atlantis, and even in defeat, his arrogance was a crown he wore fiercely. Hope, however, did not flinch. She simply met his gaze, her own eyes holding a depth that belied her years, a wisdom forged in the crucible of impossible expectations. She didn't offer a retort, nor did she speak of justice or consequence. Instead, she chose a path less traveled, a question that cut through the expected posturing. "Did you truly believe," she asked softly, her voice steady against the roar of the waves, "that you were in control?" The question hung in the air, a subtle but profound challenge. For a long moment, Namor remained silent, his jaw, typically set in a line of resolute authority, clenched almost imperceptibly. He stood there, a being accustomed to absolute dominion over himself and his realm, confronted with the insidious truth of his recent experience. The Phoenix Force, while granting him power beyond measure, had also consumed him, twisted his intentions, and amplified his darkest impulses. We, as observers of these grand narratives, often see the arrogance, the unchecked ambition, the destructive power. But what lies beneath that formidable exterior? For a being like Namor, a king whose very identity is tied to sovereignty and self-control, the loss of that control would be a profound violation. And then, in a rare, almost startling moment, Namor's gaze dropped from Hope's, fixing on the churning sea below. His voice, when it came again, was softer, stripped of its usual bravado, a whisper against the wind. "No," he admitted, the single word a chasm of meaning. "No, I was not." He paused, the weight of the admission palpable. The power, it was intoxicating, yes, but it was not mine, not truly. It was a current that swept me away, warped my judgment, and transformed my will into something alien. It was a confession that came with a palpable sense of internal disgust. To Namor, the notion of being manipulated, of having his own agency usurped, was anathema. He had embraced the Phoenix, believing he could wield it, bend it to his will for what he perceived as the greater good of mutant kind. Yet, in the throes of its influence, he had become a destroyer, an aggressor, laying waste to Wakanda, an act of devastation that haunted him more than he would ever let on. "I disliked it intensely," he continued, his voice laced with a raw honesty that was almost shocking from the proud monarch. "To be a puppet, even of such cosmic force, is an indignity. To act with such fury, with such disregard for my own reason, it was a feeling I despised." This wasn't a plea for forgiveness, nor an attempt to rationalize his actions. It was a simple, stark admission of a profound internal conflict. Here, in the aftermath of his greatest defeat, the King of Atlantis revealed a layer of self-awareness rarely glimpsed. He was not merely a proud, vengeful monarch. He was a being who understood, on a deep level, the corrupting nature of absolute power, even when that power promised to serve his noble, if guided, intentions. The Phoenix Force had not just been an external enemy, it had been an internal one, betraying his very sense of self. This brief, fleeting moment of vulnerability, witnessed only by hope, revealed the regret that lay beneath his arrogant exterior. It showed that he was acutely aware of his own flaws, of the precipice upon which he had stood, and the monster he had nearly become. It was an unseen scar, etched not on his skin, but on his soul, a testament to the fact that even the most formidable and prideful characters can grapple with self-reproach and a profound understanding of their own failings. It added a powerful, complex layer to Namar's already multifaceted character, painting him not just as a villain or an anti-hero, but as a being capable of introspection and perhaps even growth. It's these moments, isn't it, that truly define characters and make their stories resonate. The unmasking of the internal struggle, the quiet admission of weakness from a figure of immense strength. It reminds us that even at the highest echelons of power and arrogance, there can exist a surprising depth of self-awareness and a private battle against one's own darker nature. What do you think of this rare glimpse into Namar's mind? Did this moment change your perception of the Sub-Mariner? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more explorations into the rich tapestry of comic book lore. Until next time, keep exploring the hidden depths of your favorite characters.